The 21st day of December. It was noon, and Miranda was pacing in the stables, waiting for the prince to come back with some food. Finally, he arrived and shook the snow from his cape. "Have you remembered the spell yet?" Miranda asked. "I'm sorry, Miranda. I've tried and tried, but it's gone from my mind." Miranda sat on the trunk in the corner of the stable. "Vanished," she said, "just like the palaces." "No, we still have time. The magic compass won't make the Nice Palace disappear until tomorrow." "That doesn't leave us much time." The prince sat beside her. "Is something else bothering you? Is there something else there, Miranda?" "Yes. There are only 3 more days until Christmas. Even if we get back in time, I won't be able to finish the Christmas palace." "Miranda, forget the Christmas palace. It's the least of our worries," the prince said. He unwrapped the bundle that he had brought into the stable. "I crept into the kitchen when no one was looking. I found sausages, cheese, and apple cider. Are you hungry?" "I'm starving," Miranda said, stuffing a big piece of cheese into her mouth. "And while I was there, I did some eavesdropping. I heard the kitchen staff talking about a ball my great-grandparents are giving at the palace tonight." "A ball?" "Yes, and if we're still here this evening, you and I are going to go to that ball." "But I don't have a gown." "Maybe there are some clothes in one of these old trunks," the prince said, opening the lid. "A ball," Miranda whispered as the prince began to pull things out of the trunk. Meanwhile, in his laboratory, Chloe was searching the fire for a sign of the prince and Miranda. He had built a roaring fire. Archibald sat by Chloe and gazed into the flames. Spike slept soundly in front of the hearth. "I can't see them," Chloe said as he peered deeper and deeper into the flames. "I hope you find them soon. It's almost Christmas," Archibald said. The nieces were staring out the window of the Nice Palace. Outside, the winds whipped and the snow into high drifts. "It's a real Christmas blizzard," Tandra said. "Can I go out and play?" Clipper asked. "You'll have to wait until the storm passes. You might get lost in all that snow." But Balto couldn't wait any longer for the storm to pass. He had to go now to the royal palace and ask the wizard for help. He clutched the handle of the trapdoor that led to the burrows. A great gust of wind blew up from the below, carrying the snow with it. He slammed the door shut again. "Oh no," Balto cried. "The burrow is filling with snow. I won't be able to go to the royal palace." To himself he said, "I'll have to wait until the storm passed. By then, it may be too late." He gazed at the calendar on the wall. There were only 3 days until Christmas. Clipper gathered some snow from the floor and made snowballs. Tandra was holding several of the garlands they had made, but the arches in the Nice Palace were already covered. "I think we made too many garlands," she said, looking around for someone to put them. Clipper giggled. He took the garlands from Tandra's hand and raced them around the statue of Fanica. He draped them all around her neck. Balto and Tandra began to laugh. "A Christmas troll," Tandra said, as they danced around the statue of Fanica. "All you need is a needle and thread, a bowl of popcorn, and berries," I said. "Start with a needle and loop the thread. Oops, turn it around. I meant the head. Through the popcorn, easy you see, then string the berries. 1, 2, 3. Continue your chore, and before you know, look at your feet. You've covered the floor. Garlands, garlands, berries red and black, garlands, garlands, enough to fill 10 sacks." As the evening descended on the Nice Palace 100 years ago, the prince and Miranda were busy dressing for the ball. The trunks in the stable were filled with fine clothes, all of them white. Miranda had chosen a long flowing white gown that shimmered with silver. The collars and cuffs were studded with brilliants. The prince placed a sprig of holly in her hair and stepped back to admire her. "Well, you just look like a winter princess," he said. "Thank you," Miranda answered as she pirouetted in the gown. "Why do you think all the clothes in the trunks are white?" "It's a tradition that goes back before my father's time," the prince explained. "It's no ordinary ball. It's the silver ball." "Silver ball?" "Yes, everyone dresses in white and silver to celebrate the frosts of winter," he said, reaching into the trunk. "And don't forget your parasol." He handed Miranda a shimmering white parasol. "It's part of the tradition. All the ladies carry parasols to the silver ball." The prince extended his arm to Miranda. "It's time to go." Miranda took his arm, and they stepped out into the courtyard. They easily blended in with all the guests who had arrived from the 4 corners of the kingdom for the silver ball. The women were all in fine white and silver gowns, and white parasols twirling above their heads. The crystal frosts that sheathed the courtyards reflected the brilliance on the gowns and sparkled in the silver air like fireflies. Candles burned in all the palace windows, and the music from the orchestra filled the clear night air. The prince and Miranda entered the ballroom, where hundreds of couples were waltzing across the marble floor. "I've never been to such a grand ball before," Miranda whispered, as the prince waltzed her expertly around the dance floor. Chloe was still gazing to his fireplace. Suddenly, Archibald jumped from his pillow on the floor. I see something, he shouted, pointing to the flames. Chloe looked closer as faint forms of the dancers began to appear. What are they doing? Archibald asked, squinting. It looks like a silver ball, Chloe said, surprised. Silver balls were popular when I was young. They look like they're dancing, Archibald said. He'd never been to a ball. Yes, they are. And look, Chloe said, I see Miranda and the prince. Chloe hurried to his book of charms and flipped through the pages. He hastily mumbled a spell. I'll be back in a flash, he said, and before Archibald's eyes, he said goodbye. Chloe blinked, and he vanished. Miranda and the prince stepped out into the terrace. What a wonderful evening, Miranda said, gazing at the stars above their heads. Come stand here, the prince said, as he led Miranda under mistletoe. I hope you won't run away this time, the prince whispered as he kissed her. No, I won't run away. At that very moment, Chloe appeared on the terrace beside them and tapped the prince on the shoulder. Excuse my interruption, your highness, Chloe said, with a hint of mischief in his eyes. Chloe, where did you come from? The prince blurted. Uncle Chloe, you found us, Miranda said, hugging her uncle. Yes, and not a moment too soon. Take my hands, we have to go back now. But the ball has just begun, the prince said. There'll be other balls, your highness, Chloe said. Hold on. He blinked, and in a flash they vanished off the terrace and left the silver ball behind. Until tomorrow, good night.